At it again, and oh boy, here they go again. Here they go again. They are doing it once. This is just some absolutely sad stuff. I mean, it tells you exactly what you need to know about them, which we already knew. But it also shows their desperation. The fact that Democrats continue to do this shows their desperation. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And let's take a trip down memory lane before we get into another Democrat. Yeah, it's sad. Let's take a trip. Let's dive in.
I don't feel no ways tired. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy. I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me.
Together, and it's the gospel song sings, we've come too far from where we started. Nobody told me the road would be easy. I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me. My fellow Americans, I don't think the good Lord brought us this far to leave us behind. May God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And then, of course, you had people clapping. Goodness gracious. And then, of course, you know, you also had Miss Fanny doing the exact same thing. If you missed that video, check it out here.
All the glory I receive, it's his grace, not a perfect me. We are at a time in history, people. Hear me on this. We are at a time in history when you can no longer sit back and just let other folks do it. You cannot expect black women to be perfect and save the world. The Lord is completing us. We are not perfect. We need your prayers. We need to be allowed to stumble. We need grace. With that kind of support, we will move mountains and do Jesus' will, stumbling all the way. So his flawed, hard-headed, and imperfect child has a message for each of you today. Please find a way to do your extraordinary, God-given assignment and make this community and the world a better place for all of his people. See, it is never about who you are. It is always about the great I am and who he is. See, we are all flawed, sinners, unworthy, imperfect, damaged, but we are qualified upon his calling. You can find common ground with people of all different ideologies if you simply commit yourself to being obedient and steadfast in your efforts and his word. If you commit yourself, God will turn your hard-headed self into the extraordinary for his kingdom. Thank you.
Yeah. And, you know, it's unfortunate with these types of videos that, you know, I always have to say there's more. You know, there should be a no more with these types of videos. But as you saw there, Democrats don't care how low they have to stoop in order to gain political points. They don't care. You went into the Lord's house and gave a campaign speech to uplift yourself politically. How sad, how disgusting is this behavior? But of course, they don't care. They don't care. They'll say that they care, but clearly they don't. It's just, oh my goodness. It's just, like, I'm stumbling over my words at this point. You know, this is just craziness. Craziness. I'm just gonna play this clip, y'all, and get your thoughts and opinions on this, because I'm almost at a loss for words here. This is just...
My friends, as we meet this afternoon, a great lie is doing its work, poisoning the bloodstream of our democracy. A former president refuses to acknowledge that he lost, and he has convinced millions that our elections and our democracy no longer work. He threatens the foundations of our nation and everything Dr. King persevered to save. If given the chance, this former president's allies in Congress will once again ignore the rulings of our nation's courts, the outcome of our elections, and the words of our Constitution. As they claim for themselves the right to throw out the votes of millions of Americans and install their former leader as our president, we must not let them prevail.
All right, so let's run it back and let's address what she's saying. I wanted to play it one time through so you guys got to hear it, but now let's address it.
My friends, as we meet this afternoon, a great lie is doing its work, poisoning the bloodstream of our democracy.
Yeah, the lie is you lying to people saying that we live in a democracy. Tell me where it says democracy in anything, really. Like, the only people that are saying democracy are you Democrats. We live in a constitutional republic, not a democracy. So that is the lie, Miss Liz Cheney. That is the lie. Carry on.
Lie is doing its work, poisoning the bloodstream of our democracy. A former president refuses to acknowledge that he lost, and he has convinced millions that our elections and our democracy no longer work.
You mean just like Hillary refused to acknowledge that she lost? You remember that? You mean just like Stacey Abrams refused to acknowledge that she lost? You mean like them too, right? Nah, of course not. I can't talk about them. Silly me. Let me stay in my place. I'm sorry.
Threatens the foundations of our nation and everything Dr. King persevered to save. If given the chance, this former president's allies in Congress will once again ignore the rulings of our nation's courts, the outcome of our elections, and the words of our Constitution.
You mean like you Democrats ignore the courts? Because didn't the courts say that Joe Biden wasn't allowed to wipe away student loan debt, but he did it anyway? Hold on, what was the other point that she made there? I want to make sure that I address everything.
Ignore the rulings of our nation's courts, the outcome of our elections.
So when you say ignore the outcome of the election, so you mean to tell me like he's still in the White House? So he ignored the... Oh, wait. No, Joe Biden's in the White House. So what are you talking about? I'm sorry. I'm confused. I thought Trump was still in the White House because he ignored things. Exactly. Makes no sense.
And the words of our Constitution.
What words of the Constitution do you speak of? What words do you speak of? Because last time I checked, it's always the Democrats who ignore the words of the Constitution. Freedom of speech. Who's pushing for censorship? Democrats, exactly. Second Amendment. Who's pushing to take weapons away from individuals? Exactly. Democrats. Who said that your Second Amendment is not absolute. Yeah, Democrats. So, are we talking about Democrats here and Joe Biden? Because I'm confused. We can't be talking about Trump.
As they claim for themselves the right to throw out the votes of millions of Americans and install their former leader as
Throw out the votes of millions of Americans. You mean like allowing illegal immigrants to come in to replace all of the people that are saying no to you Democrats? So throwing out Americans' votes for illegals' votes so you all get elected again? Is that what you're talking about? Got it. See, I thought we were on the same page, Liz. I thought we were on the same page. I got you. Yep. Exactly.
Americans and install their former leader as our president. We must not let them prevail.
I think that's all she says there, and they just sit in there, Goodness gracious. Oh, man. How sad is that? Going to a church to give political speeches. Sad stuff. Sad world. And it shows their desperation right there. It shows that we are winning. And also, the Iowa caucus, I think, showed a lot as well. Trump winning with 51%, I believe. If you combined, obviously, everyone else's support, they still wouldn't add up to Trump. Combine Vivek, I want to say Liz, because we were just talking about Liz, which I guess Nikki Haley isn't far removed from Liz Cheney. So they're basically the same person at this point. And Ron DeSantis, if you combined all of them, they wouldn't even be able to beat Trump. And Vivek has now endorsed Trump. So I fully expect Vivek's base that he garnered to a majority of them to move right on to Uncle Trump, because their policies and what they were talking about is basically in line with one another. I mean, it's perfectly in line. So I fully expect Vivek supporters to, in large part, rally behind Trump. Now, the determining factor here is going to be, what happens between Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis. Because there's been some rumors that they're going to team up in order to try to beat Trump. And, there's been rumors, I should say, that allegedly some people in Ron DeSantis' campaign, their whole thing is getting Trump arrested. Like, that's their whole thing. That's their whole thing, is trying to make sure that Trump gets arrested. Allegedly, of course. Got to say allegedly. Which I find believable, because that's the only way they're going to win. And I don't see why anyone would continue campaigning after they just lost by a record margin. Record. Shout out to all the Trump supporters that showed up and showed out. We need to do the exact same thing in New Hampshire, obviously. But I just don't see how anyone could still be out here campaigning after losing by record margins. And then Nikki Haley is, all the way down in third place. Now, granted, it's a close third place. But still, you're in third place after second place had already lost by a record margin. Record. So yeah, I don't understand that one. Actually, I do understand it. I think the rumor, in my humble opinion, I think there may be some truth to that. They believe that Trump will get arrested, and that is their hope, and that's why they're still in the race. They're there, so if something happens to Trump, which they are hoping for, they're just gonna walk right in. And I don't know. I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think Trump supporters would support them in large part. Maybe. If that was the only option, maybe. But even then, I think we would still, hey, Vivek, get back in the race or something. Hey, come back, over Ron DeSantis or Nikki, especially Nikki. Oh my goodness, sheesh Louise. She's no different than Liz Cheney or Hillary in my eyes. Y'all can let me know how y'all feel about Nikki in the comment section, but I feel like I already know what you guys are going to say. I feel like you guys are going to say the same thing I just said, right? And then also, the thing about Nikki is she doesn't really garner a lot of support from Republicans. It's Democrats that are trying to get behind Nikki Haley. And I made a video on that just the other day. Nikki Haley supporters were polled and asked who they would vote for, and 40% said they would vote for Joe Biden. And I'm like, wait, what? And only 20% said they would vote for Trump, which I think says everything you need to know. In the fact that allegedly in Iowa, in one of the counties, a place ran out of paper the forms that allowed people to switch their party. They ran out of those forms, allegedly because there were Democrats showing up that were switching to Republican and voting for Nikki. Yeah. Interesting little tidbit if you missed that one. So yeah, it's never Nikki for me, never Ron DeSantis, Trump 24, in my humble opinion. And this only bolsters that, in my humble opinion. Like they are desperate. You are going to the house of the Lord to give political speeches. Yep. Desperation. And I love it. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button before you go. It's right up over there. Click that thing if you are not subscribed yet, and check out that video before you leave. Peace and love. I'm out.